Germany was up to some weird stuff during World War II. They made a lot of very well-designed things, besides transmissions, which included some pretty accurate tank guns like the one found on the Jagdtiger. Like 15cm guns, there's no shortage of guns with calibers that range from 127 to 130 millimeters on Tier 9 tank destroyers, considering there's 6 of them. 7 if we count the Conway with 139 point whatever it is, I didn't bother checking. However, by far, the nicest gun of any of them is the Jagdtigers. In real life, this thing came into existence the same way a lot of tank destroyers do. Alcohol. I'm kidding. You have a lot of these in-development tanks that you're currently making, so why not mount these super powerful anti-tank weaponry on them so you can move them around easier? Thus, a whole slew of tank destroyers was born across several different nations, and by extension, the Jagdtiger. A gun so good it carries the tank even when the transmission is not able to, which is all the time. Aside from the transmission in real life tearing itself in half when turning 180 degrees, that's not a joke. I did not making that up, that actually is a thing. In game, this thing goes 42 kph with a turbocharger on it. And you absolutely should use a turbo on it, since the power to weight is like -15, or roughly the same speed as paint drying. Downhill though, the armor is quite okay, I guess. It's very, very usable in a good amount of situations. Not all of them, but it's not some insane armor plate that will block anything. No, that's the gun mallet, which is virtually invincible and gets hit more often than you would expect. Speaking of hitting more often than you would expect, let's really look at this gun. 128mm gun, 276 standard pen, which that's a lot. 352 APCR pen is absolutely beautiful, especially at Tier 9. Fast shells, good accuracy, great pen, just amazing in every regard, and it was in real life too, so. Historical accuracy. I firmly believe that the Tortoise's gun is the single best gun in the entire game, in an overall sense. The sheer damage output is second to none, tier for tier. But it's not the Jagdtiger's gun. This thing is just so nice. I can't really describe it. German tanks are notorious for accuracy, which subsequently they're also made fun of for their impressive accuracy when missing virtually every single thing on the entire battlefield, regardless of how accurate the tank is. Grill 15, we are looking at you, sternly. This gun is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't think many other guns in this game have made me just smile while using them like this thing has. But with this thing, it's just bliss. Taking shots is easy in every way. It hits hard and often. It's one of the most reliable guns I have parked in my garage. That's a brand new sentence. And it's a good thing too, because if it wasn't, this thing would be the worst Tier 9 tank destroyer for sure. It's not even that difficult to see how bad it would be if the gun was inaccurate, because to make the comparison, that tank already exists. It's a premium, and it's the Tier 9 Chinese tank destroyer. Oh, don't worry, we'll get to that video eventually, and by eventually I mean probably dead last, because oh my god, this thing sucks! Fortunately, it's not. If you saw the T30 video and want something more accurate than that, or are one of the people who actually, likes hitting their shots, look no further than this tank, and more specifically, this gun. The armor's more or less as reliable as the T30s in my experience, or unreliable, I guess. Both get penned with no issues from the vast majority of tanks, with terrible holes and small spots where they won't ever get penned. Difference being, one of these guns is a national treasure, and then there's the T30. Equipment, well, besides a turbo and a rammer, was modded configuration. What do you mean why? It's German. Since you're running configuration, you can afford to run food without worrying about many fires. I don't think I've actually ever been set on fire in this tank, though I do see it happen a fair amount. Ammorack is more of a concern, as with all German tanks. It's located under the gun on the sides of the tank, and I mean, everyone knows that's where it is at this point, so expect to get shot there probably first if someone gets a flanking shot. I know that's what I aim for, so. Other things to note, never ever try to use your hull unless your goal is to just donate hit points to the enemy. I don't think I've ever blocked a shot off of this thing's upper plate. Spare from one of those auto bounce angles that just shouldn't be possible but seem to happen all the time if you're a Leopard player. The side armor is just... Ooh, that's a lot. I don't care how thick that armor plating is, and trust me, it's not. That's a pretty big and giant flat armor plating. I don't care how thick it is, that's bad. Look at all those places you absolutely do not want to get shot at. If you were wondering, that includes basically every other part of the tank as well, besides the structure, and even then, yeah. So, I guess long story short, like your average Japanese medium tank or average stereotype of Americans, it's all about the gun. You've got a hefty amount of hit points to play with, which is nice since blocking damage won't be too common, similar to a T-30, and you're going to need every single hit point you got. Overall, it's not a gimmicky tank at all, which is weird for me because I like gimmicks, but it's just a really solid gun put onto a chassis that lets you utilize it in a lot of situations. I guess the only real gimmick is that it has a top speed being a little too high for a tank that has a similar power to weight ratio as Flash from Zootopia. Again, like all the previous videos, this recurring segment, here's all the numbers with enjoyment on the end. While I absolutely adore this gun on this tank, I still feel like I enjoy the WZ-111 GFT a little bit more. As a whole, personally. The Jagdtiger has worse effective armor than the Wizzy, and the Wizzy hits for 1100 if you're an SU-130 player. It's more mobile on maps with terrain irregularities, which, spoiler, is a lot of them. That last point is slowly starting to matter more, considering Wargaming have started adding maps like Oyster Bay into the game, which is 1500 meters across. I do enjoy it more than the T-30 though. Guns this consistent are rare, especially on neck brace tank destroyers, since turning dispersions are usually pretty crap. If you've seen the other two videos, which are this one and this one, you should know the drill at this point. Stream highlights showing what the tank does, where its limitations lie, because people who only show the good in a tank are lying to you anywhere between 30 to 50% of the time. And that's not fair to viewers, so I show all the aspects of a tank, because that's what these videos are supposed to be doing, showing you a whole tank, not what it could be sometimes.
The Jagdtiger.
So, there you go.
The Jagdtiger.
Hans. I'm trying to turn a circle. My transmission's too thick. It keeps ripping itself in half.
Hans, get the new transmission. I keep trying to turn a circle, but I keep ripping the drive shaft in half.
Man hit D and just imagining. And all you hear is grinding and cracking noises.
How is the Jagdtiger faster than the T-30?
This thing goes 40. This thing goes 42. I mean, it's got a power to weight of morbidly obese everything, but it's, you know.
The power to weight is it'll get there eventually.
The power to weight is maybe.
I love it. I like it a lot. It makes me happy.
638.
And major pain.
Major pain, yeah. Oh, Panther.
Oh,
neat.
Sad. Sleep. Like I do every night that I get to play this game.
Why does this have to be a stock Panther? Why can't this happen to a T-30? Why does it have to be a stock Panther? Alright, fair enough. Yeah, yeah, 12.
12 damage.
Oh. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can just do this. B2. 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 B2.
Bless you, Orange Jesus.
Wow, and now you're gonna hit because I'm, yep. T-30 being a tier 10. So, fun fact, that was originally gonna be in the script of the video as a whole bit where it's like, I feel like it's a legal obligation to point out this thing used to be a tier 10. It's the fun fact everyone knows, but no one was around to actually try it. So, barrel roll in a Jagdtiger. There's one gun that I love more than Object 263 gun. It is Jagdtiger gun. We had the same idea. 704 is about to be just alright, watch for 704. Yep. We Well, it's gonna suck for one of us. That works. That would have been great on the first shot, but... By the way, the fact that RU took that shot should tell you how bad this thing's armor actually is. Because that means he had at least orange on the front of this thing. This super conk.
Line back up and shoot the E4. He's right there.
I mean, I'm really annoyed with this RU, but this guy has not put a foot wrong this entire game. So I believe I can pen this guy just straight in the gun mantlet. I don't really want to rely on that, but you know.
I really don't like this new map. This heavy fight is...
I've never liked this map. It's just worse now. I just gotta hope that their RU does something wrong, which he hasn't yet, but if he does, then... Thank you, sir. This gun is really good. Oh, that's a... That's a full health T95. Alright, that guy can pen me everywhere. If he's not firing HE, he can. Really? Oh my god. At the lowest of rolls. Hey, he's still firing HE. Sturv actually might die here. Oh, grill.
Sturv flipped.
Oh! No. Sturv flipped.
Yeah. Please RNG. Yay.
There.
That's a good one.
Actually have to win.
No aim.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Brighetto 66. For some reason, this thing does really well against.
Yeah, the flat front turret, it kind of just goes through. This gun is so beautiful.
Yeah, the gun is wonderful. The hull armor...
No.
Hmm.
You were saying like the upper structure armor could use a buff?
Yeah.
I honestly think so too. That would honestly make this vehicle a lot
It'd
more
make it
playable.
really good. Problem is, I think this is one of those tanks that can't be changed, otherwise they aren't allowed to use the rights to it. So the
Historical
front...
accuracy.
Yeah, the front is 250 and it's gonna stay 250, hey. Get me out of here.